What's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. This is a $500 gaming PC build that's a great starting option if you're looking to game at 1080p at decent settings and decent frame rates. This build is primarily a gaming build, and while it won't max out every game at 1080p, you can expect performance similar to that of a console, and in a lot of cases much better than what you would find on a console, so let's get right into this with the CPU of the build. For the CPU of this build, I went with the Intel Core i3-4160 3.6 GHz dual-core processor. Now yes, it is a dual-core processor, which is going to scare a lot of people off. It does have hyper-threading, but this CPU for $110 still can perform really well at even the highest end games. A lot of people think the Core i3 can't run The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but if you have a decent video card, which we do in this build, you can actually play The Witcher 3 at 1080p at around medium to high settings. Obviously, the i3 is limiting in some of the higher end games, but in a $500 budget, you're not expecting to run every game maxed out, like I said, so the i3-4160 is a decent gaming option. Now, I say the i3 is a decent gaming option because, yes, that's what the i3 is primarily for. I would not get an i3 with the intention of video editing, live streaming, or rendering. If you're looking for that, I would say get a build centered around the FX 6300. The i3 is more of a gaming-centric CPU that provides more per-core performance, so I think this was a great option in a gaming build for only $110. For the motherboard, I went with the ASRock H97 Pro 4 ATX LJ1150 motherboard for around $80. It's on the LJ1150 socket, of course, so that does mean in the future, if you do want to upgrade to a Core i5 or even a Core i7, you can do that. It's got 4 RAM slots up to DDR3 1600MHz up to 32GB of max memory, so that's pretty good. It's got RAID support and 6 SATA 6GB/s ports. No Crossfire or SLI support, but in a $500 budget, I don't think that's a necessity anyway, so you guys should be fine with that. So this ASRock motherboard is the perfect kind of budget end motherboard that you get in a $500 build like this. For memory, I went with Corsair Vengeance 8GB, 24GB sticks running at 1600MHz for only $44. RAM like this around 6-12 months ago would have been much more than $44, so it's great to see that you can get 8GB of RAM now for a really reasonable price. And 8GB of RAM is the perfect amount in a $500 build. No reason to get more, but you definitely don't want to get less. You don't want to go for a 4GB configuration anymore, especially in a lot of games like even Battlefield 4, Dying Light, The Witcher 3. They are really limited by having only 4GB of RAM, and in some cases won't even run. And at this point, 8GB of RAM is so freaking cheap at $44 that you might as well get it. But like I said, if you do want to add more RAM in the future, the motherboard does have 4 RAM slots, so you can add more later, but that's not something you should do now. For now, get 8GB of RAM. It's super cheap, and it's going to provide pretty good performance in games as far as the RAM is concerned. For the hard drive, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB 3.5-inch 7200 RPM hard drive for $49. So this is a terabyte of storage, not much more to say. I didn't go with an SSD in this build. I don't think you should get an SSD in any build sub $700. So you guys are getting the mass storage out of the Caviar Blue, which I think most of you guys prefer, especially if you're downloading a lot of the newest games. A lot of the games these days can range anywhere from 50 to 60GB. So definitely I think most of you guys prefer the 1TB you're getting out of the Caviar Blue, opposed to something like a Samsung 120GB SSD or something like that. And the Caviar Blue still has decent speeds for a mechanical drive, so for around $50, the Caviar Blue provides a terabyte of storage, and that's pretty good. Like I've said in previous videos though, you guys can shop around and you can find Seagate 2 or 3 terabyte drives for like $70 to $90 if you do want more storage than a terabyte. And with these days, with game file sizes being so big, people downloading movies, pictures, music, all that kind of stuff, a lot of people do need more than a terabyte, so maybe keep your eyes open for a deal on one of the Seagate drives. Otherwise, the Caviar Blue 1TB for $50 is pretty good. For the video card, I went with the Sapphire Radeon R9 270X 2GB Dual-X video card for $150. Now, this is a great entry-level GPU for 1080p gaming. It's not going to max out every game, but you can play a game like Battlefield 4 at around high settings and still average 45 to 50 frames per second. You can play a game like The Witcher 3 at medium to high settings and still get 30 to 40 frames per second. The Sapphire R9 270X is $150 right now, but there's also a $20 mail-in rebate, so if you use that, you get it for $130, and if you buy this graphics card right now, you get a free copy of Dirt Rally, which I haven't played myself, but a lot of my subscribers tell me that's a really fun off-road racer. So right now, the Sapphire R9 270X is a very good value-oriented video card for those of you that are budget gamers. You get a really solid 1080p gaming GPU for $150 or $130 if you use the mail-in rebate, and you get a free copy of a game, and it's a very entry-level 1080p video card. This is the perfect kind of GPU you go for in a $500 build like this, and this one has a pretty good cooler as well, so if you want to overclock it, you can do that as well. For the power supply, I went with the EVGA 500W 80+ bronze certified ATX power supply. This is $45, it's 500 watts, you don't need anything more than that. We're not going for a Crossfire or SLI configuration in this build. It's only $45, and it's going to get the job done. There's no reason to get like a 600 or even 700 watt power supply in this build. So the EVGA 500 watt power supply is a perfect option option in this gaming PC. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT Source 210 Black ATX mid-tower case for only $30. This is a crazy good value right now. The NZXT Source 210 isn't this amazing case, but the real drawing factor of this case is obviously the price. For $30, you're getting a solid mid-tower case. And a solid mid-tower case for $30 is a really good deal. The one I have picked out is black, but it also comes in white, so just pick the color of your preference. The Source 210, solid mid-tower case. It's not going to blow your world away, but for $30, I don't think anyone is expecting it to do that. So as always, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. If you disliked, obviously hit that dislike button. Comment with your requests for future videos, and as always, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.